Yo guys, it's One Angry Mo. Thanks for coming back to see us again today. I got a new review for you. I got the Star Wars EFX Millennium Falcon scaled replica diecast. I never really had an EFX collectible before. This is the first one, and I was really excited about this item. So we're going to go over it in detail. I'm going to give you a brief unboxing. I don't want to spend too much time unboxing it because there's a lot to go over. We're going to go over a review. I want to give you my honest opinion whether this is a buy or pass. I believe this item is mostly sold out. You can probably find it on eBay. That's where I actually got mine from, and I'll explain that more in detail a little bit later. So if you see my other review, you know how I like to do this. I like to break it down into cost, how much it costs, and do I think the cost is reasonable, accuracy, the resale value. You know, if I sell my Star Wars item, am I going to get any money back or am I going to lose money? What the wife thinks, and I'm going to give it an overall score of whether you should buy this item or not. We're just going to classify it as buy or a pass. So basically it came in this big brown box. Nice and protected. I unboxed that already, and this is what you see when you open it. Millennium Falcon diecast replica. This is the Empire Strikes Back version, which is really awesome. Inside you can see that it comes with this kind of cover that overlays a styrofoam box, and it kind of gives you an example of what you're going to be expecting when you get the model out and display it. And it just kind of gives you some logos, EFX, Disney, etc. So I initially bought this from Sideshow Collectibles. And this is the base. When I first received it, you can see a crack in the base, the mirror base. I mean, this item was almost $599. It was really disappointing. I didn't want it like this. I want my item to be mint. So I contacted Sideshow, and they were able to take it as return, but they couldn't replace it because they were sold out. It was either a return for my money back or a $50 gift card. And if you guys are like me, I'm not going to take a $50 gift card and put this on display so everybody can see a crack in the base. I'd rather just get my money back. So after I got my money back, I decided to buy another one from eBay. At this time it was $699. And look at this base. Another freaking crack or defect, whatever you want to call it. So I was like, man, what's up with this? The EFX people don't pack their items right, or these are just defective items they're selling to us? That's not fair. So luckily the eBay seller was an amazing guy. He actually was able to get me another base that he replaced it with. So I kept the Falcon itself, the model itself, and he just sent me another replacement base. I sent him the defective one back. And now my item is mint, which I want. EFX, their communication is not very good. When I first ordered this directly from their website, I tried communicating with them. I wanted to cancel it. They never emailed me back. It took weeks. Eventually, they just refunded my credit card without even talking to me or sending an email back. I've heard this from other people that their communication is very, very poor. But nonetheless, guys, I got my model, my replica. Here it is. And I'm going to go over it in detail with you guys here. So here it sits on a base. And you can rotate it around, you can look at it. It's got a mirror base so you can see the bottom of the Millennium Falcon. There's a wire that goes from the base up to the top, or I'm sorry, no, it goes from the Millennium Falcon down into the base, and it connects, and that's where you're going to get the electrical source from to light it up. There is a switch you can turn on, and it lights up on the back, and there's a couple lights in the front. The cockpit lights up. So that part wasn't too bad, but you have to kind of take a wire out of the bottom of the Millennium Falcon, thread it through the tube and into the base, and connect it. And it takes 3 AA batteries, and there's a little switch on the back. And here I switched it on. I know it's kind of a lit room, so you won't be able to see the lights. But here there's 2 lights in the front that are lit up there, and there's also the cockpit which is lit up. And I'll get you a closer view of that. And if we come to the back, the lights on the thrusters, the engines, I hope that's the right Star Wars terminology, that also lit up. And I'll get you a closer view of that in a little bit too. I hope my hand gives you some idea of how big this item is. I think it's reasonably good sized, and it could fit very well in a cabinet or on a bookshelf, a big bookshelf. I actually have the display case too, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. Here's the cockpit, and you can see way in the back you got C-3PO in pieces. I thought that was pretty cool, but there's no window, which is really weird. There's no glass for the cockpit. So maybe it's not a big deal, I guess, but maybe it's easier to clean that way. I'm not sure. Maybe replace the parts or something. But for it to be a replica to me, I would expect there to be glass around the cockpit. Otherwise, you're going to be sucked out into space, and who knows what will happen. So that's one of the little things I didn't like very much. But the detail on the top is pretty good. The painting was pretty good. Here's the guns. Again, no windows there. There's no like glass or anything, or even plexiglass, I guess, or plastic or something to it. But anyway, here's the top. There's some blaster marks you can see there on the right side. There's little pipes that come sticking out, which I think was pretty cool. I've never really seen that before, but there's little pipes everywhere that are very well done. And the colors, the paint job on the top, the exhaust, all looks good. I think this is probably the hatch where Lando came out, and he's like, "Hey, fall into my hands, Luke." But there's a couple of hatches over here too, so I don't know if they're hatches. I'll probably have to review the Falcon schematics and see where exactly Lando popped out from. You got to remember, this is the Empire Strikes Back version, so maybe that's where he came out of. But let's go to the back and look at this, guys. Look at this. Okay, you see these little spots on the back? That's what my model came with. I don't like it. This is a $599 model, and it came with spots. Okay, here's a little switch, turning the lights on and off, and here you can see some screws that hold the base in. You can kind of pull them out and change the mirror base if you wanted to. I don't think that's necessary, but that's what I had to do to replace the base because of the cracks I had. And here's a glimpse from the mirror looking at the bottom of the Millennium Falcon. There's no guns there because the rod went into the bottom of the Millennium Falcon. Here's, okay, now we're going to move into the display case. I'm going to show you what that's all about. So I bought this display case from eBay from our acrylic displays. Here's this plastic base. I got this, I think they're in the UK, and it has two layers. It's got these spacers, a little bit wobbly, but it's all plastic, and it was specifically made for this model. So you place this base into here, and you have an opening in the back where you can turn on and off the Millennium Falcon. So it's pretty heavy. I'm going to go ahead and put the base in there, and this is what it looks like. And the acrylic top, unfortunately, had a crack when I got mine, but the eBay seller and eBay themselves were pretty good at helping me either get a refund or replacement. But yeah, you can see the crack there at the bottom. I was very unhappy about that, but you know, what can you do? So this goes on top of the Millennium Falcon. I think the display case looks very nice. I think it's very presentable, and anybody coming by would be like, "Oh wow, look at that Millennium Falcon," and you know, they can look at it. Of course, they can't touch it, and I don't want them to touch it. And you can see I didn't wear my gloves today. Sorry guys, I ran out of cleaning gloves today. But I think it looks pretty nice, pretty presentable, and I do recommend the display case. Let's go over the review. Okay, so we're going to go over the 5 things that I look for when I give a review. So first of all, let's talk about cost. So I think Sideshow was selling this for $5.99, but it's sold out. Online on eBay, you can find it anywhere from $6.99 to $7.99. I give the price of this item 2 out of 5. The reason why is because the customer service of EFX was not good. There was some quality control issues. There were spots on the back of my Millennium Falcon. You saw that. It didn't look good. And no glass around the cockpit. The base had to be replaced twice for me to get what I would consider like a normal new looking piece. Accuracy, I gave it a 3 out of 5. There were some aspects I really liked about this model. The colors, the paint job was pretty good. It did feel pretty good in my hands. It felt solidly made, and I think according to the movies and the Empire Strikes Back Millennium Falcon version, it looked pretty reasonable. But do I think they could have done better? Yes, I do. Let's give that a 3 out of 5. Resale value is kind of interesting because I've seen some EFX items go for a pretty high price on eBay. For example, just recently there was a TIE fighter that sold that was EFX made, and it sold for $4,000. I don't know who would buy a TIE fighter for $4,000, but hey, they must be a serious Star Wars collector. So if that's the case here, I think in a little bit of time this should be somewhat of a sought after piece as well. As long as you have a mint item, I wouldn't want to buy one that had a damaged base like the ones that I had initially. So I said 4 out of 5. 4, what does the wife think? We already discussed that. The wife is always going to think of 1 out of 5. She does not like Star Wars items. She doesn't want them throughout the house. In fact, when I had the display case, she thought it was just something she could put her hot coffee mug on. So that's a 1 out of 5. Okay, overall score, guys, what do I think? I give it a 2 out of 5. All the hassle I went through to get a mint item, the way I spent like almost nearly $600-700 for this, the EFX lacking customer support. I've seen some other similar items on the internet which people seem to like better. I guess there's some sort of model kit that's really accurate. I would say pass on this. I wasn't a big fan of it. We'll see what EFX comes out with in the future, but for right now, I would say a pass from my personal opinion. I hope you enjoyed this review. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.